Hello everyone, Linker here, and today I wanted to make a guide about passing hard stages that you might be stuck on. So I'll be using King's Tower, where I'm still on one set at 4550, and I'm gonna be around the minimum power. So just to show you guys, if I just pick on any bunch of random heroes, it is below the minimum power, so this is going to be a very hard stage to pass, nothing too trivial. At level 386, this is going to be around like over 100 levels of deficit, over 150 levels of deficit, so nothing to scoff at. Now, we need 43k power to even get through the stage just for the first retry, so all kinds of strategies might be at play here. You could use mercenaries, you could use heroes. You need to keep in mind everything to first of all pass through the line and understand the enemy comp. So running into it, we're talking about if we have about 43 we pass the line, or 43 to 142, that's over 3.5 power ratio. So we're talking about heroes that can scale very well. We're talking about CC, we're talking about stuff like that. Anything like Shamira, get that out of the way, because at those levels she just won't be able to carry. Okay, next up, let's look at what do we have on the enemy team. So the enemy team, I see an Isabella, and this is going to be a play-by-play. Fox, Rain, Lucius, and Rowan. Very high regeneration I see here. Quickly identify the fact that they have a lot of buffs and debuffs to the enemy. Fox is a hero that I instantly look at when I see such stages. Also Aaron breaking through the defense, Feral countering the healing, also Sylvina probably making a help for anyone that wants to get through her. So Rowan Talene is probably going to be the core, and that is pretty consistent across replays. Rowan getting probably attacked by Sylvina if we can make an assassin set because he's a mage getting targeted by her. Talene also helping the regeneration, being able to take the heat from those heroes. Now we're gonna try and just get to the power level with assassins over here, just see how does the replay go. So I pick my Gwyneth, who has very high power, and we should pass the line here, not talking about artifacts or anything, just trying to see how does the replay go. And for this I'm gonna tone down the speed. Okay, so Aaron pull goes fine. We see the wins over here. Talene having her ult. Alright, looking good. Let's just see why does this fail and then look at the stats. Alright, both Gwyneth and Aaron die, and let's see what happened. So Rowan and Rain dealing most of the damage. Isn't that incredible? Those heroes that are pretty bad. Lucius in 0 damage actually, just taking some. Fox mitigating a good portion, and Rowan healing through. So before I even start changing heroes and artifacts around, I'm gonna try and target Rain, which did most of the damage in this replay, and see what happens. Who could be another carry that is really making my life hard on the enemy team? So Aaron will pull Rain for longer duration than Gwyneth. This is going to make it so she does less of the damage. He's also going to pull Rowan here and target both these specifically. So here we're looking at another side of the enemy comp and what happens if we make it this way. Alright, Aaron gets bursted. So my conclusion when I see this is that these enemies are going to be the real issues. The Rains and the Rowans are the ones making the issue here. So we need the bottom front line, something that could take heat from them. Now thinking about that and seeing that we already have a Gwyneth, my thoughts instantly trend towards a front line that's very strong, somebody who could take that heat, given that the fact that we're not in a huge rush over here. I'm thinking about a very tanky hero. You might have guessed it, I'm thinking about Arthur. Now Arthur's power level right now is a little bit too low, so I'm going to pass gear to him. So I'm going to go to all heroes, just anyone who has power gear, like strength gear, that I might be not using. Damon is a great example of that. I love Damon, too low power to get into this replay, just has no heroes that work with him. So we're going to give that gear to Arthur, and we're also going to give him a signature item that will make him more bulky. So we're talking about Chalice alongside all of his defenses. Now we have a very tanky hero that can take that part off the enemy and probably face it head on. And we're going to try and remove some hero here just to see the powers. 43 back to 43. Okay, so without Leica this seems fine. And now with this in mind, if we keep Arthur over here, we probably don't want Aaron to pull the enemies into the back line. So we'll have the Aaron on the other enemies try to heal Arthur so that he stays alive. Perhaps have Talene in the front line so she takes damage, and Rowan in the center healing the team. Usually want to place Gwyneth in the center, but here she can just damage directly into what's doing the damage on the enemy team. Aaron is seeing the other part. Let's see how well this goes. Pretty creative setup, you don't see many of these, and it actually works pretty well. Alright. Certainly seeing some improvement here. This is still not going to be a single replay win, I really don't believe so. There's no way. But certainly more interesting. I see the shields Lucius putting in a lot of work. So, alright, seeing that my Aaron and Gwyneth put in a lot of damage this time. Here, the damage seems to be more equally divided. I'll note that Lucius is healing the most, not Rowan. I know that Lucius has taken significantly more damage. So, the biggest issue I think we have here is going to be Lucius. At this point, when I see, alright, I'm a little bit out of ideas, I see positioning. And we probably won't see similar setups from other players, because at minimum power, if I could have put the God comp, probably would have, but my God comp just does not have the power needed. So you see Rowan, Talene, Aziz, Tassie, and Twins. I'm going to quickly copy that just to assure that it's nowhere near our power level. Of course, I would personally love it to be, because those formations usually make things easier. But sadly, at this gap, it's just not gonna be enough. Okay, so winding back, I'll just put on back all the heroes that we had. There we go. We're gonna look back at those replays and see what can we learn from them. So we see this player here, the cat, gotta love the cat, putting Rowan Talene as the front line. We can use both of these, we have been. We see Aziz and Twins, the enemies that you want taking the least damage, on the top and bottom, where Tassie, you can teleport, actually landed quite some, probably taking some damage in that mid-lane slot. So my instant idea here is to try and cycle with Talene with some substitutes, putting Rowan Talene as my front line, maybe Tassie in my back line. My Tassie also has quite some power from my top ranked heroes, and then substituting Aziz and Twins for something here. Now, looking at another one, Rowan Talene and Tassie replaced by my hero here, but pretty similar idea. And my friend over here, I gotta really like, twisting the Tassie and the Twins. Very interesting. But we see Talene, Rowan across all of these. Rowan, Talene actually. Alright, so we want Rowan and Talene in the front line. Let's try that. So we have Rowan here and Talene here. That's what we saw in most replays. And for the rest of it, we're going to have Tassie in the middle, where we saw her. 44k, very interesting. But then instead of Aziz and Twins, which generally boost the team, we're going to have two hyper carries doing lots of damage. Now let's see how this looks. Alright, Talene dying a couple times. Very hard setup, lots of damage. Yeah, and our carry is dying too. When I see this kind of a replay where Tassie might be of essence, where Tassie might be able to just land the key stun in the right time, I'm really curious for that. I also see that Gwyneth just did not get efficient, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try again, see how this goes, but I'm just going to flip this around, have Aaron taking care of these two, and see how this works. He might die right away. Okay, this is what's going on. Okay, so the two here are making big issues for us. We're going to put Aaron back here. He was good, and we're going to try a different hero just to CC them. So let's try Athalia, another invader, a very classic one that we see oftenly. Going into the enemies, surviving the initial hit, Tassie ulting. This is looking extremely good. Maybe she can stop another ult and then win the game. Aaron dropping significantly reduces the team damage. CC coming online, looking good overall, but the healing from the enemies hurts. Any other thoughts that I have here? Not really. I see that just the heat that I have, all this burst damage, just not being enough without a very good Tassie ult preventing Lucius, for example. Okay, I like this idea. I'm going to try and change it around a bit. I'm going to have Leica here. And that's going to be enough, yes. So that Aaron pulls, the lower part of the map will be aggressive, but maybe I'll be able to do something like this, yes. CC Lucius out of his ult, dropping the enemies below their health thresholds. Looking very good right here, right now. A great replay. Okay. Now Aaron going over. Talene might be able to make this last part work, actually. Fox and Rain still alive, but this set definitely looking very promising. Tassie keeping up to ult. Value of replays. Keep looking for those replays. You'll get those ideas that you otherwise wouldn't. And Talene ulting. This is very tight. 7 seconds on the clock. Probably not making it. and I'm gonna lose this. Now when you see this, I instantly go to the replays right away, and I see Aaron is a great carry here. Not many people use him in this role, but when he's boosted by Leica, he actually makes it. Now Leica dropped very fast is one thing. Rowan did not do a lot of damage, and the enemy Rain was just mad. She took most damage, she mitigated most damage. Lucius was nullified. Very important to see. So Aaron working good. We want the haste on him, but Rowan being able to land healing, we want to burst faster. So now I'm gonna look at my team, and I'm gonna look at Tassie here. Cool trick. You could long click. Maybe this is campaign specific, but you could see the gear item. So going right to Tassie, I remember I just twisted her in, so I'm gonna give her an artifact. Now Tassie really enjoys Call, allowing her to ult faster, stop those key enemy ults that you really want to stop. Has great gear on her. Aaron, we're gonna see, has great gear on him. Rowan, let's see, no artifact. We're gonna give our Rowan some dodge, I think. No, we'll give him some self-heal because this fight does go for a long time. He does not heal himself as effectively, so a very good thing for him. My Talene, I'm pretty sure, is optimized. No, she doesn't. She does not have Blade, maybe because of a campaign replay. She likes Blade the most. And lastly, what was the last hero? Leica was Leica. Leica, not optimal gear, but her gear is not too crucial. Just something to put on her. Let's put Drape on her just to give her extra defense so she might stay alive. Now going back to that replay. Let's try again. Slightly higher power, almost 45k, still huge gap. Rowan dying right away. Leica staying alive, meaning the replay value here is very big. You could have a lot of different things happening, which is what we like to see against those inconsistent sets, because you have the chance with enough RNG to keep retrying until you win. So we're coming up with a pretty creative set. Some elements that you do see in other sets, like Tassie, like Talene and Rowan in the front line, but some that you really don't, like our Aaron that I started with, and seems to do really good. Like you see this kind of a hero doing so much damage, looking great here, and there we see, he dropped. Still not that much health, nah, not enough, but with 34 seconds, I don't know if you saw that, really great. Aaron, a good hero in here, landing a lot of damage. 172 million, 173 effectively for me at those levels. That's a lot. This is a marker that Aaron Leica, even if we split the damage across the two, is something that could work here. I'm gonna keep retrying. Now we do have mercenaries and other strategies, but I really do like where we've gotten so far. Seems like there's a good chance here. I'll keep replaying it and see where am I getting. A few things that you could change. You could consider replacing Leica with another hero that could boost Aaron even further, like Twins. Although Twins here, they do well behind Rowan, so they are a possibility, but we see just this clutch kind of sets coming along, barely making it. So when I see that, I keep giving it a couple more retries. At this minimum power, you're definitely trying to pave through. Okay, so 2v4, looking great here, and my team coming online, 20 seconds on the clock, some aspect, and we got it. Great job. So we created an entirely new replay live right here. You saw my thoughts, you saw how I go through this. We're gonna run over the set and understand why it works. So Rowan, great hero over here, very strong with his heals and sustain and CC, sometimes landing this key ult on the Lucius before he ults, which makes the enemy team much stronger. Aaron, which is the main carry, can bypass defense, but giving this much shield to the whole enemy team is very hard to handle. Talene, the main healer and side carry of the team, taking most of the damage, putting down in the front line, so she takes the Rowan and the Rain, which did most of the damage. Still, I still don't completely understand her. Well, sure, Sylvina would do most of the damage, or Fox, but Talene taking the heat here, very crucial, customizing my team and putting her up to the replays, having the right idea of putting her to take the damage, so she heals the team, comes up to resurrect, and eventually carries. Aaron, our special twist, great CC goes along with Leica to be able to pull off a lot of damage, especially against high defense enemies. Not everybody in the enemies is high damage kind of player, so as you can see, very good that we have Aaron over here trying to reduce their defense with his furniture and with his items, and pulling through with this amount of damage, being able to do it below the replay time at minimum power effectively. Tassie landing in the CC, landing in some damage, pretty similar to other replays, and doing what she does best. And lastly, Leica just buffing the team, making both Aaron and Talene deal more damage. So one last look at the replay. We're gonna go through it here. And I think with that, this is going to be my strategic guide for how to go step by step about breaking with your own team into those hard enemy comps at minimum power at the late game. Took King's Tower as an example, but I think anything can do. And with that, I'll just let this thing play here while I tell you thank you.